Here is a collection of tape measuring tips and tricks that I personally find useful and worth sharing. When trying to divide a board into equal sections, but the overall dimension is not easy to divide, tilt your tape to a number that is easy to divide by the number of sections you're wanting. I want 3 sections, so I go for 15 here, then mark 5 and 10. Now I have 3 equal parts. If I wanted 2 sections, I would tilt my tape to land on 14 and mark 7, which finds me dead center. Or if you don't need to be as precise as that, take the overall dimension, in this case 14 and 11/16. Then get close on both sides, such as marking 7 inches. Now you can narrow the field to eyeball a close enough center. You don't always have to hook your tape. Burning an inch and starting at the 1 inch instead of 0 will give you a really precise measurement, especially if you're in a situation where you can't hook your tape. Just remember to subtract an inch from your final measurement. When you have repeated measurements, instead of trying to remember them from board to board, use a dry erase marker to mark your tape so that you can quickly make the same mark on all boards needed, such as when drilling pocket holes. After you're done, the mark can easily be wiped off. It isn't precise enough for fine furniture making, but in a lot of cases, using the edge of a tape is a great straight edge for quickly making lines. When you're just needing something roughed in, the tape can also be used as a quick marking gauge by using your left hand to determine the measurement and butting the tape up against the wood, then using a pencil against the end hook. Remember that the end of your tape has a metal end hook, so if you ever need to extend your reach to pick up something metal, such as the nut on a table saw, a magnet stored on the side of the table saw can quickly be placed on the end to pick something up. It's hard to accurately measure on inside of corners, such as the inside of this door jamb. Instead of rolling the tape and guessing, pull your tape from one side and mark an easy number such as 10. Now measure from the other side to your mark and add 10 to that dimension. However, it's worth noting that this Lufkin tape body is exactly 3 inches long, so that in situations like this, you can pull your tape until the body is butted to the other end and then add 3 to that dimension. Don't have a notepad or a good memory? A small free sample of Formica is a ready-made tablet that just needs to be cut to size, then stuck to your tape with either hot glue or double-sided tape. Pencil can easily be wiped away for the next round of measurements or corny joke. Sometimes the tape isn't even the best method. There are plenty of times when holding and marking a board in place is not only the quickest, but most accurate way to get a measurement. I recently switched to using Lufkin tapes, and one feature I'm loving is this through hole for marking curves or circles. You can place a nail to capture the body of the tape, then place a pencil in the nook of the hook. Then it's quick work to get a clean circle. If you're using a tape without this feature, the alternative way would be to set a nail or screw to hook the end of the tape. Then do your best to keep the pencil on the measurement needed. It's doable, but definitely not as easy. 2 ways of determining square. If you only have 2 sides, then the 3-4-5 method is easy. You measure to 3 feet on one side, 4 feet on the other side, and then the hypotenuse, or the measurement from point to point, should be 5 feet exactly. If it's not, then you can adjust. And this also works with 6, 8, and 10 feet. If you're building a box, then the diagonals from corner to corner should be equal. If they aren't, then you can tap the long end until both measurements are the same. Now on a tape measure, I've always known that every foot is clearly marked, and then also every 16 inches for doing framing on 16 centers. But I recently learned that the small diamonds are for dividing an 8-foot span into 5 equal parts. This is handy if you're trying to break down sheet goods. Now let me talk about the sponsor of this video, which is Lufkin Shock Force tape measures. I regarded pretty much all tapes the same until trying out these Shock Force tapes. It is incredibly durable. It can withstand a 100-foot drop and only bear a few scuffs. Every one has 2 metal guardrails to protect the lock button and a diamond-coated end hook for superior gripping. Then the tape itself is so rigid that it can repeatedly hold up to a 14-foot standoff. The shock force comes in two styles, the traditional coloring style, but also a really cool night eye version. Both are extremely easy to read with larger than standard print for the numbers, a matte finish that prevents glare, then also a contrast background on the foot markers. I don't typically work in dim lighting, but it is nice that if I were in an attic, a crawl space, or even a poorly lit job site, then the unique coloring of the night eye would give me clear visibility. In fact, I think I prefer this coloring as my go-to over the traditional. I know I'm going on about a tape measure, but the thoughtful design behind this one makes it worth it. After all, it is everybody's most used tool. One last feature I love that I want to point out is the double-sided tape. Not only are the markings on both sides, but the back side is vertical numbers, which is easier to read when pulling from the ground. Hopefully you can put some of these tricks to use in your shop, and if I left one of your favorites out, then please leave it for me down below. I'll see you soon. Thank you so much for checking out this video. Be sure to also check out my website because I sell lots of useful things, such as these fraction and decimal charts. They're not only cool shop decor, but they're also functional. If you're interested in getting yours, you can click right here.